Right then, boys and girls. Right then. Good morning. How we doing? We've converted to the dark side. It's official. Ready for some dollar? Let's give it a go, shall we? Should we see? Should we see what's popping? Should we see what all this fuss is about? Do we know what all this fuss is about? You know that little druid I started setting up yesterday? Well, I continued with this little druid yesterday. And we got herbalism capped out. Mining is only 8 knowledge points away, so as good as capped out. And with the addition of some nice juicy rank 5 tools, tools and accessories for both professions, we are tippity top. Take advantage of some of these absolutely bonkers crazy prices right now on materials. That's the plan for today. What's the token sat at? What is the token sat at? The token is sat at... That's not going to tell me what the token is. Give me a long boy. Give me a long boy. Token is 320k. It's actually pretty damn cheap, isn't it? I'd like it to go below 300. I actually have 343,000 gold in my bags. Why don't we? Why don't we just... Oh, I've got stuff in the mailbox and whatever, but... Why don't we just open a loot appraiser and see what we can do today? Let's see. No messing about. No silliness. No shenanigans. Let's just get it on, shall we? I need consumes. If we're going to do it, we do it properly. If we're going to do it, we do it properly. Lap a stone on that bad boy. Lap a stone on that bad boy. Slap a stone on those two. We need a buffety buff. Drink some tea. Need a finesse vial. The whole shebang. I think loot appraiser is not accurate. Why wouldn't it be accurate? It just pulls its prices from wherever you tell it to pull prices from, right? Food buff, check. Vial, check. The vials only last for 30 minutes. Right, we'll double stack the vials then. Dark Moon Firewater. Boom, check. 60 minutes. Right, buffed up to the hills. Buffed up to the hills. I'm going to pick an iron ore route. Where's me Zygo when I need it? Where's me Zygo when I need it? We're gonna go... What's it called? What's it called? Umbriel tin ore. Zulaman. I have a suspicion that this is where the money's at. Just a suspicion. But I reckon if we follow this route, we get rich. If we follow this route, we get rich. That's the theory. That there. That'll do. That's neat and tidy, isn't it? That's neat and tidy. Follow the path. To success! To success. Don't forget the finesse vial and the new tea gives you bonus for gathering and Dark Moon Firewater. They stack. Yeah. I'm an expert. I'm a pro. I'm so pro, in fact. I haven't got all my buttons in the right place even. Right, we good now? Good now. We wasted 2 minutes. No, we haven't. Let's go. Let's go, gadget, go. I think I'm going to predominantly focus on ore. Whilst we focus on ore, we'll pick up some herbs. Sure. I don't think we need to, like, hyper-focus on the herbs. I think the ore's where the money's at, you know. Killing these dudes, though, is not so much. Not so much. Yeah, I managed to get all the professions. Somebody's already been here. Managed to get all the professions leveled to 100 yesterday, which was easy business. Sanguithorn? We should probably flat out ignore Sanguithorn. Is it Haranir? No, it's in terms of racials, I haven't gone that sweaty with it. This was just a druid I already had. This is not really meant to be a showcase of expertise today. I just want to really see what's actually possible out there. Kind of an awful lot of QQing going on about prices on stuff. So this is just my sort of efforts to see it for myself. See if it's true. I'm probably not even going to bother overloading on this in any way, shape or form either. What does the overloads do out here? Yeah, the overloads aren't really useful here, are they? Fun fact, this dude got like 3 levels from just doing this yesterday as well. Where's it gone? Lost it. Go away, lizards. Aha, that dude took aggro. Yoink. Give me the flipping mats. Go. This is just a bit of an experiment today, really. Considering it's a Friday, we can chill on a Friday. Do something a bit silly. When are you going to rename your channel to Farm Theas? I don't think we're going to go that far. Not going that far. But I've been saying it for flipping months. I am relatively convinced that the path to easy success from a goal-making perspective, this expansion, is not going to be smashing your face against a keyboard fighting for single-digit margins. There's always opportunity doing that, but I don't think it's where the money's going to be. But we'll see. Do you like armor crafting? No, I don't. But I do tend to think that that is a more viable path. Is that a treasure? No, that's not a treasure. Anything that goes via like providing a service to somebody is relatively guaranteed. There's humongous amounts of competition on doing anything that's like processing. And that level of competition is great if you want to go that route, but it's a lot of hard work. Oh, there's usually a herb in there. Where's the herb gone? Azroot, this stuff's money. 8 Azroot. Oh, imagine if that was high quality. That'd be real money. Yeah, so we're doing a bit of science today. Touch of science on a Friday. Friday afternoon science lesson, that's the plan. Leveled a druid from 80 to 90 purely gathering herbs, ore and lumber. Yeah, I mean, this dude got 3 levels, nearly 4 levels under his belt yesterday just from a couple of hours of doing this. Fun fact is, like, it's actually not that slow of a level. Comparing how slow leveling is generally right now, it's actually not that bad. You can get a level in about an hour, which is on par with just, like, casually leveling up normally. You can obviously sweat out XP farms and stuff like that, but doing this and making some gold at the same time, what could go wrong? The amount of spawned mobs around these, anybody that's not a druid is absolutely screwed, by the way. Anybody that actually has to fight those things. If you had a niche craft that you know people have to wait for hours for, but you also know it's in demand, would you gatekeep it for egregious amounts of... given it takes concentration? You're clearly alluding to something tailoring. And yeah, it's... You can... if you can craft something at rank 5 using concentration for tailoring, charge up the fucking wazoo. Craft it at rank 4 for flipping everybody all day long. But if somebody wants rank 5, just, you know, charge a hefty premium. Pick a big number and double it. Because you'll find somebody that will pay flipping outrageous money. If you are, of course, obviously confident that there is no possible way to guarantee that at quality 5 any other way, of course. Otherwise, you'll have somebody calling you out on your shenanigans real fast. But I'm pretty sure that only applies to tailoring right now. Is that in a cave? I don't really want to go in a cave. Yeah, I really don't want to go in a cave. Screw that, we ain't going in a cave. Oh, bet I haven't got flipping shadow meld. That's the button I want. Yeah, if you can do something and you can only do it a few times due to a limited resource, and you know there's not going to be many other people that can also do it, charge what you like. It's got an auction house spike. There was the auction house went down yesterday apparently, or late last night. I don't know whether it was because they hotfixed something and ballsed it up. Blizzard never do that, right? I don't know if their Blizzard's ChatGPT had a moment, but something caused the auction house to get switched off yesterday. For a short period of time. I'm going to have to reposition my minimap, I think. I used to have the minimap right in the middle of my screen, and it meant I didn't have to divert my eyes. I actually think having it off in the corner right now is a net loss. Because I'm constantly doing this. Seems like bad mojo. So happy I didn't put points in mounted mining, killer profits at this point. Well, I was considering that, but it's obviously something that's very hard to test either way. The fact that it only took me about 2.5 hours to like fully set up this druid yesterday, and a couple of hours of farming fully covered any cost of like tools and whatever. It's no skin off my back to Lotus. It's no skin off my back to make a couple of these spec slightly different ways. I've got level 80s all over the place. I don't necessarily have level 80 druids, too many of them, but I've got a bonus level boost knocking about that's not being used for anything. But yeah, I was heavily contemplating not putting the points in mounted mining and instead stacking them into tin and or silver. And I still partly think that there's value in doing that. Sanguithorn. Flipping hell. At least we got high quality Sanguithorn. Azroot, now we're talking money. Flipping 2 of them. Sanguithorn feels bad. Yeah, to use a seed on it as well. Gross. I shouldn't even waste my time stopping for Sanguithorn. Planned last night, no clue what I did. Now, don't take this personally, Gellins, but your presence online leads me to believe you did something. Leads me to believe you did something. You had that squeaky clean persona. You know? High quality tin, now we're talking. That's where the money's at. Need as much of that as we can get our hands on. High quality tin is real money right now. What was that? 2 pieces of high quality tin was 750 gold. You mad? You know how many flipping enchants you have to sell to make 750 gold profit right now? About 750 of them. Skip on that one. Sanguithorn again. Game hates me. At least it's high quality. I equally don't think this is a particularly great route. This is just one of the default Zygor routes. Oh, wait, hang on. Where's me mouse wheel up button? Okay, this has gone horribly wrong. I suddenly realised I did not have... Okay, this has gone horribly wrong. I did not realise I had no keybinds. Whoops! That screwed everything, doesn't it? Screwed the pooch. The first reply of the guilty is I ain't done nothing. I've realised I've switched to Boomkin and I now don't have any flipping keybinds. Which is kind of entirely my fault, but... Ooh, cheeky treasure, yoink. Ow, that's also nuked all of my flipping consumables, hasn't it? Because they don't persist through death. What doesn't persist through death? Flipping everything. Dark Moon Firewater doesn't. Me well-fed tea doesn't. Can you make hearty teas? I bet you can't. Do these things persist through death? Surely they must do, right? Yeah. Right, let's try that again. Sanguithorn? Come on, game. How many times are we going to drop a seed and it's going to be Sanguithorn? Genuinely think I might just not pick up Sanguithorn and Tranquility Bloom. Stopping to even pick them up feels like a net loss. It's kind of the same logic as picking up flipping... kind of the same logic as picking up herbs and ore in general when you're out doing lumbering. Just doesn't make sense. Ding 84 though. I'm also going to have the problem very soon that I'm going to have no gear, no item level relative to the gear. Oh, flipping hell. Oh, we have competition. Oh, is it in the cave? Oh, I don't know where it is. Move on. One. This little area is a bit sketchy because they're all level 90 mobs. This is why I don't think this is a particularly ideal route for a low-level farmer. Peaceful farmer doesn't need combat skills. You'd think, wouldn't you? But in Zul'Aman, you do kinda. Yes, tin. Come on. Oh. Pick up some treasures as well. I'm actually at that weird level bracket now where the treasures aren't really worth picking up. Picking up the treasures on a level 80 character, definitely worth, because the what are they, 133 item level BOEs are valuable. In this sort of mid-leveling era, though, not so much. And then the treasures are worth picking up again at 90. Oh, there we go. There's a catch-up point for mining. You'll need a few of those. They seem to happen way less frequently than the herbalism catch-up points as well. Not quite sure what that is. Not killing the ore dudes. Might kill these dudes, though. Oh. Now I have to kill all of them. Oh, this isn't going to go well, is it? Yeah, this doesn't go very well at all. When I have to kill all of mine and all of somebody else's. I think it is best to leave them the heck alone, innit? Until I've actually got some gear. Or the ability to play the Boomkin class. Which I don't. I could spec back into Guardian. Spec into Boomkin because I thought it'd be more damage, but clearly not. No, fuck off. Rebuff again. Costing me all my gold in consumables here. Practicing shit. We'll go back to Guardian, just so then if I do accidentally get in a pickle, it's fine. You don't die as a Guardian Druid ever. Oops, I didn't need another one of those. Whoops. Many confounding variables here, but Guardian would be a wiser choice. Yeah, I know, yeah. Guardian's just claw, 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 exactly, yeah. Yes, probably a much better choice. Go on, give me a, like, finesse proc and some high quality tin would be wonderful this game. Wink. Come on, deafness. Deafness do deafness things. Right, I'm not leaving the tin node. Not happening. Should rename myself to crafting order failed, try again. This is killing my alt army time efficiency. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. I don't know why that happens so much. It seems to happen a lot when I'm using Craft Sim to fulfill the patron orders. I don't know what causes it though. At the same time, I don't really think it's like a fault within Craft Sim. I just think it's, you know, the game being stupid. Did I do all of that for literally one flipping bid? Yeah, I think these lashes are worth killing because these drop extra herbs, don't they? So this is like 4 extra nodes. These become worth spending time killing. The ore ones, though, on the other hand, probably not so much. That is assuming I can kill them at a reasonable pace, which I don't. Yeah, what was that? High quality tranquility bloom. That made stopping and killing them worth. Dazzling thorium. What's that stuff going for today? 350 gold. Sea gulls. Oh, I've changed spec again. That means I now all of a sudden don't have me. Oh, it's on shift 2. That's fine. $50 million sales in 2 days. Not too bad. Don't know how much of it was profit though. Probably under 5 mil. 50 million sales in 2 days. Damn. I mean, revenue does usually lead to profit. But I mean, I'm not that I'm totally boycotting crafting. I just am 100% not willing to fight for single-digit margins. I've almost entirely given up. It's just too risky. It's just way too risky. Because there's just, dare I say it, at the moment, there is just as much of a chance that you could have sold 50 million of stuff and it could have been minus 5 million in profit. Especially with how aggressive the materials are changing, you know, how volatile the materials are at the moment. I'll stick to my flipping and high octane short blast skinning farms and then keep myself busy the rest of the ways. It's not as compelling, but at least it's more relatable. Oh, I thought that was a tin node. It's a stupid copper one. No point going off track for a copper node. Have to reset the market a couple of times, otherwise was nearly a loss. Yeah, see, this is it, right? The micromanagement that goes into it is where I think I mean, I just look at how I've enjoyed playing the game over, let's just say over a 10-year period in total. I historically was never the biggest fan of farming because I genuinely find it quite monotonous and it doesn't keep me, you know, doesn't keep me entertained for very long. I think farming is often a means to an end. Like, you do it to get some goal so that you can go and do something else. But I merged into crafting and often really enjoyed crafting because I could then, instead of spending lots of time, and that's a big key part of it, instead of spending huge amounts of time farming, I could instead use some of the gold I already had and buy the materials and save a huge amount of time in the process. Crafting was always something that I enjoyed because it was very quick, it was high octane gold making, and then most of the skill was actually involved in like selling the stuff and getting the materials at the right price. The issue I have now is that the amount of babysitting that needs to be done and the amount of risk that you have to take and the initial upfront cost, it's one of those math-in situations again for me, really. I mean, I could, but it's the value proposition of it for me just isn't very strong anymore. If crafting was still something that could be done in 20 minutes, like wham bam, thank you ma'am, it would be great. But with the meta moving towards practically requiring vertical integration from the start to finish to even dream of seeing a profit, which is fine. That's, you know, that's the right way to do things. But requiring that on top of everything else, it's just, it's almost too competitive for me to be too interested in fighting through it. And then there's a sort of there's the morality of it for me as well. That I also don't when I know that something is outrageously difficult to succeed with, I kind of find it not I kind of find it if I wouldn't recommend it to somebody else, I kind of feel a bit crooked doing so, you know what I mean? If I can't in good faith recommend mass crafting to people, then why would I recommend it to others? I don't know. It's something I'd been something I saw very early on in the beta, that we were going in this direction, or at least my play style was going in this direction. I think it's mostly the con. No, it's definitely not. It's very, very easy to try and point your finger at somebody else. Super duper mega easy. This is human psychology. We're pre-programmed to do this. But it's just not the case. You know, it's very easy to say, oh, it's all the exploiters, or oh, it's all the conch crafters, or oh, it's all of the players on the Russian servers, or oh, it's, you know, there's so many different ways people can point a finger at somebody else, and I don't understand how Blizzard gets away with this, because the reality is it's a simple maths problem. It's a real simple maths problem. It's not that anybody else is to blame for it. It's very simply, everybody's figured this shit out. There's huge amounts of people trying to do it, and there's not enough to go around. The way an economy works is that some people win by some people losing. There is only so much room in the economy for so many people doing crafting. That's why markets get saturated. That's why when they get saturated, the price gets tanked. No single group of people is to blame for this. It's just that there is fundamentally too many people all doing a thing where there isn't really enough room for so many people to do it. So the absolute very best of them still get away with doing it. They beat out everybody else. But most General Joes have not got a hope in hell. Literally not got a hope in hell. You can throw your gold about to gain an advantage. And you can do that quite easily. If you've got 50 million gold and you can spend 30 million gold in the first 2 weeks of an expansion, buying 30 million gold worth of materials, so that you can avoid paying the day trade prices on mats, you basically avoid the fluctuation in cost, whilst everybody else has to just deal with the fluctuation in cost. Because most people don't have that kind of money to squirrel away mats way early in advance. But that's where there is still some advantage to having a bunch of gold already and throwing it about. But that's, you know, that then becomes the people who do that, and there's already so many of those. Look at the amount of speculation that's gone on in the last couple of weeks. It's absolutely crazy. Gather sim when? Welcome in, my man. Yes, do it. Do it. Playing with enchanting yesterday, spent 7 mil to make 2 mil profit, but one wrong craft could have easily ended up making a loss. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the thing I always liked about crafting was that I could simply make a bunch of stuff. I knew how to utilize the auction house. I learned how to use the tools to utilize the auction house. You know, things like Trade School Master, I learned how to get that set up very well. We've got more modernistic tools nowadays with things like Craft Sim and whatever. You know, learn how to use the tools effectively. And crafting, in my eyes, should be something that you can buy a bunch of materials, within 20 minutes have a whole bunch of stuff crafted, and then put it on the auction house and walk away. And this was kind of what I always liked about crafting. Instead of having to spend hours and hours and hours every day farming to get your gold, you could spend some of the gold you already had, craft a few things, put it on the auction house, and as long as enough of it sold and enough of it sold at a reasonable enough margin, you were good. You can still achieve that with crafting, just not with anything that goes anywhere near the region-wide auction house. Not reliably, anyway. So the enjoyment I get out of certain playstyles of the game have changed quite a lot recently. Now, this isn't to say I particularly enjoy farming anymore. Whoa, hello. But I'm now moving more into two extremes. I will have my high intensity goal making via flipping and doing like daily skinning and whatever. Which is, you know, that sort of stuff can easily be 250k an hour. But the downside being is that, you know, I can only do it for like maybe 2 hours a day. So I flip-flop between the two. I can do the high intensity stuff, relist all my auctions, do my auction house flipping, do my skinning. Then once I've finished the high intensity stuff, if I want to do any more specific goal making, we can come and do this sort of stuff. Low intensity, but highly reliable. I mean, any materials we gather right now will be sold before I close the auction house. Literally. they'll be gone before... They'll be sold before I can even close the auction house. So, incredibly reliable. And if I don't want to do any of the low-intensity goal-making, then I can go play the game. But you might have noticed, none of this really leaves much room in the equation for doing any serious amounts of crafting. Because crafting kind of feels like it's been manufactured not through any one single category's fault. Combination of Blizzard's design philosophy and just the sheer level of optimization that needs to go into it to make it worthwhile these days has basically meant that it's crafting is just farming in disguise, but with 10 times the risk. I like talking to people in trade chat. Don't have to spam anymore. I just click a button and start talking to them. What, with craft scan? Craft scan's also very clever. Somebody made an alternative to craft scan as well. I haven't looked at it. I equally don't want to be doing much work order sort of stuff. Because that as well, for me, kind of half... Like, if I'm going to do some... If I'm going to trade time for gold, it's not going to be playing customer service. I can do this, I can make 40, 50k an hour. I can do this, and I don't have to play customer service. Nor do I have to be permanently watching an add-on and trying to talk to people and... Oh, I don't know, that's hard work, isn't it? Hard work. Azerut. Yes, Azerut, your money. Money. Work orders only if you're multi-boxing, otherwise you're just perma-sitting in the city and not actually playing the game. Well, yeah, I mean, in theory, I could have my 4 other accounts just stood in the city running craft scan, waiting for orders. And, you know, I could stop doing whatever I'm doing, but... Yeah, I'm still... I started this expansion, and I don't know if this is translated to people. It's been a bit of a thing of mine for quite a while. I'm only doing the stuff in the game these days that I enjoy. Soon as the fun stops, I stop doing it. Soon as the fun stops, we stop doing it. This has somewhat frustratingly meant that I have bounced around a few different things, because it is quite fun trying out something new, seeing what works, seeing what's viable, what the flavor of the... Well, it's not even flavor of the month at the moment, is it? It's flavor of the day. But there's an element of fun bouncing around doing all of that. But I still think where my feet will land... My feet will land on continuing with my realm flipping stuff. Because that's hyper profitable. And an interesting sort of, it's something that's relatively new for me even still. Then if I have any desires to do anything else, or want some quick and easy cash, we've got our skinning, we've got our herbing mining, the basics, you know. Probably not going to go too deep into any, like, alt-army cooldown-y stuff particularly. Other than maybe doing some tailoring bolts on my skinners. Every night I craft all my conch bolts, then put them on the auction house for a ridiculous price. Last night they actually sold. The market's going nuts. Well, this is that's a genuinely good way of doing things. I've never really been able to figure out a way that I like to do this, other than doing it purely manually. I've been trying out a few new pricing operations on TSM recently to basically ignore as much of the like day-to-day pricing when I post materials. Instead, trying to get my TSM to post where I believe the market is going, which is not very easy to do. But so that you can do exactly that. You go to the auction house, you post shit on the auction house, and very rarely is it actually posting at the cheapest price. But more often it's posting, you know, 20% further down the stack. This is also a way on how to deal with, you know, mass crafting. Buy your materials at the cheapest possible price during the week, and then actually only sell your crafted goods. Don't feel the need to zerg sell them as fast as you craft them. But obviously there's an inherent risk there that you do kind of sometimes need to ensure that you get any profit at all. Oh, no, there's a dude in there. What is it? Copper? If it's a copper seam, I'm not that bothered. Farming's so lucrative right now. My decked out farming character, 90k an hour, plus the blue BOEs. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it properly, there's crazy money in it right now. I mean, this is a pretty decked out character now. I'm only missing a couple of knowledge points from mining. The only issue I have is that I just don't have the route down, and I haven't got the... I take things slower and more methodical, especially while I'm chatting with you guys. I did this yesterday with Majestic Hides. You could see the volume decrease and then the price increase literally by the minute. Put mine at a price where I was happy to sell them, and they actually sold like 2 hours later. Yeah. Yeah, genuinely. There's people are... I mean, this is the opportunity cost argument here a lot, but like people are they're losing a lot of potential gold by taking that guaranteed instant sale. The region-wide auction house, yes, is very fast moving, and a lot of people I think are scared of it because of that. But it is so frequent that you can put something at like 20-30% more than what the current cheapest listing price is. And if you do genuinely just walk away, just close it and walk away, you can come back the next day and be more often than not surprised just how much variancy there is in the price of things over 12, 24-hour period right now. Like my advice to people would be to do exactly that when they're doing mass crafting, if they are pushing for that. But the problem is the numbers you're dealing with mass crafting kind of need to be humongous. If you're spending any less than 1 million gold on materials when doing mass crafting, you're probably not doing it properly. Because the concept of it is that you should be making, it's the Walmart approach, isn't it? You should be stacking it high. And taking a minimal margin on each, but knowing that there's probably 20% variancy in the price every day, you kind of also should consider being more smart with the prices. Don't be Sanguithorn. Tranquility Bloom. I've lost my path. Where are we going? Yeah, this route doesn't seem particularly great. There's a lot of weird... This is just a default Zygote farming route, which is not ideal. I think I'll build my own soon. Might actually turn the route off a little while and get a little bit more data on the top end zone. I agree, I'll not bother with the mass crafting for pennies. Literally setting up my druid yesterday. It's going to be a fantastic tool to have in your toolkit. Even if you don't use it very often. Keeping it up to speed, keeping it up to date, it's far, far quicker and easier to get the knowledge points when they're like readily available. Catch-ups doesn't seem to be too bad. But in a month or two's time, when there's like 150, 200 knowledge points to catch up, it's going to be a real chore. Keeping up to date with it now feels like a smarter play. That goes for herbing, mining, and skinning. Tin node. You know what I find silly? People just opening up and saying what they're doing to make gold in communities where most of the people are competition who will then undercut them. This is a yeah, I mean, this has been a common thing. I mean, the WoW goal making community generally has always been a little bit secretive. And I always recommend to people, if you find something that works well, don't tell anybody. Because, I mean, I know this firsthand. And it's, if you're doing something, and whatever I do on stream, 500 is an exaggeration, but like, you know, a whole bunch of people will go out and do exactly the same. If a YouTube video on something gets made, a whole bunch of people will go out and do the same. Now, I'm not avidly promoting people be secretive. If you find something that works, keep it to yourself, sure. But it's, yeah, your point's valid. You recommend using the mats to craft and sell the finished product? Why? The rule on that is very simple. If, and only if, crafting adds value to the mats, then yes. If not, you are actually better selling them in their raw form. Because in their raw form, they can sell to multiple people. An end result crafted, a crafted product is more volatile in price than a material. Because once it's crafted, it's crafted. There's no undo button. And the argument is if your crafting profession adds value, then why the hell did you waste the time farming the mats yourself? If crafting already adds value, if crafting is profitable in the first place, why didn't you just buy the mats and then do the crafting? Why did you spend the time also farming the mats? So this is why if you do farming, you absolutely sell your mats. There is basically never a good reason to not just straight sell the mats. Because in material form, you'll sell them absolutely instantly. You're not taking any risk of market volatility pushing down the price of the crafted item that you craft. Basically, if you farm materials, you should always sell them. Is my take on this. Craft with them only if they add value. But the argument then stands is that if the crafting was adding value in the first place, why didn't you just buy the mats and then do the craft? Why did you spend double the time farming it as well? It doesn't make any sense. And the theory is you'll actually never be able to farm enough materials to really make crafting worthwhile anyway. If you think about the numbers, right? If you take... If you consider that most mass crafting these days is less than 10% margin, that means for a crafter, for a mass crafter to make 100,000 gold, they have to craft and sell 1 million gold worth of stuff. 1 million gold worth of stuff at 50k an hour is 20 farmers' hourly wage. So this basically means that one single crafter looking to make even 10% margin requires the effort of at least 20 other reasonably well spec'd up farmers. This creates a natural economic ratio of about 20 to 1. You need roughly 20 more farmers collecting and gathering the materials than you need crafters. And this is ultimately why, at the beginning of an expansion right now, it feels like there is just way too many crafters. There isn't room for all of the crafters. And when prices go up as aggressively as they do, that's an indication that the ratio is off somewhere. It's not and when that ratio is off, you gain more value by switching to farming. This the pinnacle of this example was like Shadowlands legendaries. Obviously the landscape was different back in Shadowlands, but I think I did the maths at the time that I was buying enough materials to craft Shadowlands legendaries, just me, one character on one server, was buying the materials of the equivalent of about 400 skinners. I needed the combined efforts of 400 people skinning just to provide me with the materials I needed to craft and sell the amount of legendaries I was selling. That was an outrageous ratio. Completely flipping broken. But hence why, back in Shadowlands, you could basically make 50k an hour skinning the entire expansion. If you didn't want to do anything flipping, if you didn't want to do any messing around with crafting legendaries or, you know, shelling up 30 million gold to level your professions, you could make 50k an hour every hour, pretty much guaranteed the entire expansion. And there was need for hundreds of people to be doing exactly the same, just so a handful of players could craft and sell the legendaries. Going for this treasure is going to be a bad idea. Oh, we got it. Now I have a bunch of leeches on my ass, though. Do you think Majestic Skinning has stolen a lot of the people who would be gathering? Probably. Yeah, that's probably a really good analysis of it. Yeah, probably. But that's where, you know, that's a farmer's choice, right? It's, if you are somebody willing to trade your time for something, it makes the most sense for you to spend your time, or trade your time, doing the thing that's worth the most. If you are somebody that has a lot of alts, then you can really take advantage, because the Majestic Skinning is one of those high intensity gold making activities. Humongous gold per hour, but you're very, very restricted to how many hours you can do it for. Dependent on how many characters you have and your level of sanity to set them up. Farming needs one character. And you can do it 24 hours a day if you really want to. This is why I call it low intensity. Very, very low barrier to entry. I set this character up in like 2 hours yesterday. No real significant effort at all. You could get it whipped up in an afternoon. Easy business, because I literally did. You know, a 50 character skinning alt army is not something you can whip up in an afternoon. But yeah, when Majestics were, you know, 20, 30,000 gold a piece, I think that whilst also simultaneously all of the news about herbing and mining whilst leveling your character, all of the QQ, all of the hate of the, oh, herbing and mining is only worth 10,000 gold an hour, and people told me I could level my toons and make 1 million gold whilst leveling to 90, and, you know, all of the bad press that was floating around that probably did take a lot of people who would just be spending hours picking up herbs and ore, and instead they went off doing other things. And could be a contributing factor to now why there's only 10,000 ore on the entire auction house for the EU. Because nobody spent any time picking it up. And now everybody wants it, there's not enough of it. They should bring back the Shadowlands system now that the prices will be normalized across servers. No, I wouldn't go anywhere near that with a barge pole. And this comes from somebody that made out like a bandit in Shadowlands. I wouldn't go anywhere near it with the region-wide auction house being the way that it is. Do you think the cancel scanning was bad back in flipping Shadowlands? You ain't seen nothing if it was on the region-wide auction house. That would be gross. the reason I state this is because one of the advantages you had as a big legendary crafter in Shadowlands was that you literally bought the entire server's materials. Most weeks, though, now I wasn't always playing on a really big server. I spent most of Shadowlands on like a mid-level server. But on that server, there was me and realistically 3 other people that were like basically crafting and selling every single legendary for everybody that played on that server. And on a Wednesday morning, between us, we would clean the auction house out of materials. This was a way to basically ensure that there was no room to step on our toes. Like, heavy callous hide was literally bought out. Not bought out and made expensive to flip. No, just straight bought out, gone. Like, sure, you can try and craft and sell some leather or mail legendaries, but with what mats? The mats didn't exist. That was the way to ensure that you could then also craft and sell, and that was what you had to do to, believe it or not, remove some of the risk. Spending 10 million gold on heavy callous hide the day before reset was a way to basically mean that the next day you could sell your legendaries at 20% profit with basically no competition. With the region-wide auction house, that just wouldn't be possible. And it would mean that the risk involved of spending that kind of money, having that kind of much stock, it would just be bananas. I wouldn't go anywhere near it. You'd have all of the negatives and none of the positives. They did it again today. Be good for farmers though. I can tell you that for a fact. If they did bring it back, it'd be absolute stonks for farmers. But Blizzard will never bring that back again. Lashes are big to kill though, just that, like the ore ones, most gold is from that. There is if you're geared and you can kill them quickly. I'm neither. So I'm better off not spending 2 minutes killing 4 mobs, I think. I say I think because I haven't fully tested it, but... I said I was going to spend more time in the northern part of the zone, and then I accidentally ended up on autopilot doing exactly the same route I was doing before anyway. One Argent Leaf. Oh, 10 Argent Leaf, but all low quality. Like Dragonflight crafting with the procs for high rank. I can see the appeal of it. I can definitely see the appeal of it. Because if you were able to craft and sell at great enough quantity, it was just, once again, simple maths. If you knew what your inspiration chance was, it did boil down to just simple maths. The only problem I didn't like with that system was that it created humongous amounts of what I refer to as like waste product. You were obviously fishing for the rank 3s in Dragonflight, but where most of your risk tended to lie was in safely and cost effectively selling all of the rank 2 stuff. And that's the bit I didn't like. But it could also have been that I just wasn't very good at it. Ah, I will utilize this guy. See, if I was as geared as this dude and could kill them that fast every time. Double Azaroots, cash money. Yeah, if I had gear enough to kill them as fast as that dude was killing them, it would be definitely worth to hunt down every wild node in the zone. And that probably would be where a lot of my gold would come from, actually, on the hourly rates. And also all of these treasures would add up with 220 BOEs. Anytime I get a BOE from this stuff, I'm in that weird, annoying stage where it's like item level 83 stuff that is worth basically nothing. Either level 80 or level 90 requirement stuff is where the money's at with the BOEs. So weirdly, part of the meta of farming is actually be level 80 or be level 90. Your 80 to 90 journey might not be as fruitful as when you're at one of the two extremes. Inspiration was a pain still for craft sim, not the math but the UI implications. Always needed to consider the result being either this or this. Concentration made stuff more intuitive. I mean, I definitely think from a player understanding, concentration was a much better system with ingenuity. I see the route that they've taken. It's funny because the concentration to me feels like another one of those like almost knee-jerk reactions. Blizzard, I don't think were overly impressed with the alt army approach of just commoditizing concentration by just, you know, having humongous amounts of characters. Hence they've done what they've done by nuking the qualities down to 2 and also heavily strangling the value in concentration. Even though a lot of the players might not be feeling the effect of that strangulation yet, trust me. It's coming. But on the flip side, it's kind of it's kind of a little bit of a shame because concentration in its design is very clever. Here's a limited commodity. Here's a limited commodity that you can use to make your personal crafting very effective. But obviously they tried to balance the amount of concentration to be so that it wasn't so effective that you'd have lots of spare stuff to sell, but, you know, goblins being goblins counteracted that by just having 500 ults. Because goblins will do goblin things. But I do think it's concentration is one of the cleverest things they've added to professions for a while. Do these little ore rumblings, for reference, do they have any relevance to where they come from? Like, does a silver node give you more silver when you mine these fellas? And a tin node give more tin? Or is it random? Not really paid attention. That gave me silver. And that gave me high quality tin, so it doesn't seem to matter. When does Solog get to come back and entertain us? Well, he was here yesterday. Solog was here with me all day yesterday. It's sort of when Mrs. Manthius is at home, it's just easier for everybody. Well, it's easier for me. It's much easier for Mrs. Manthius if she doesn't have to look after any of the dogs. I'm sure she'd agree. But it's easier for me if I've only got one of the dogs. Thus, keeping them slightly separated during the day gives them a chance to actually chill out and relax a little bit when they're both in their teenage stages, being where they just don't chill the fuck out ever. And I'm not the kind of dog owner that feels comfortable like crating the dogs up during the day, forcing them to chill. I want the dogs to be dogs, but I also want them to learn to be able to like relax on their own. Sullo is much better at relaxing. Amlams has got flipping ADHD, I'm convinced of it. So, the answer's intermittently. Intermittently. I guess if you made it so you can only make one recipe for full concentration, then people will just have 7 times the alts. Well, there's been some relatively sensible suggestions for having, like, concentration be an account-wide cap. Then you could have it... You could have the war within, you know, effectiveness of concentration, just with an account-wide cap. I'd even go as far as to say it wouldn't be a terrible idea. You could give people 10,000 of it or something if you made it an account-wide cap. Still giving people benefit to running a few different alts, but not, like, scaling it up to 500. I do sort of have the opinion that there is a happy medium to be had there. But it's one of those things. It's difficult. It's difficult because it always feels harsh to have something taken away from you. And the players out there that do have humongous alt armies and have been taking humongous amounts of benefit from them with concentration are going to feel like they're getting slapped across the face. I mean, they already will kind of get that feeling with what they've done to concentration in Midnight, but the full effects of it hasn't really been felt yet because the professions aren't, most professions, most crafters aren't sufficiently equipped with knowledge points to do a good enough job yet. Concentration is still quite powerful, but with enough knowledge points in the hands of crafters, the value in concentration diminishes to almost 0 pretty quickly. It's definitely amusing for chat when all 3 are here. It's amusing for you guys, I'm sure. I've tried to explain this to Mrs. Manthius as well, that whilst I can have the 3 dogs here while I am streaming, it is not the most efficient for me. Sure, it's fine during the live hours of my stream, but the hours in which I'm live is only a fraction of the time and effort that goes into the stream. Doing anything else whilst the dogs are going mental is almost impossible. And to maintain some element of professionalism, it's nice to have. There's a reason why people don't take the dogs to the office every day, right? It's cool once in a while when somebody takes a dog to the office. It's not cool when it's every day and they're woofing and barking and going crazy. Oh, we have done an hour's worth of farming now, yeah. with a few whoopsie-doos, a few deaths, you not really paying too much attention to what I'm doing. We're still doing reasonable goal. I mean, we only got, like, how many Lotuses did we get that run? We didn't even get anything, like, big that's padding the numbers, I don't think. We only got 3 Lotus that hour. So it's still not, you know, the numbers aren't being padded by just getting super lucky. This is the thing, like, there's this is where the consistency is going to come in, I think, of farming this expansion. High quality mats are going to, high quality materials are going to claim much of a premium for a little while. So there'll still be some pretty good, strong hourly values in stacking skill, going out and picking up the big expensive stuff. But there will be a switch. There will be a switch where well, for starters, the amount of quality 1 mats is going to be problematic. And we've already seen what's happened with something like, what's it called? Sanguithorn? Sanguibloom? What's it called? Sanguithorn. We've already sort of seen the problem of just how quickly something can stack up as soon as it's not really in the limelight. We've seen that already with Sanguithorn. Something that's not useless, but just a byproduct and not as useful as something else. Look how quickly that market is, like, tanked to, like, almost nothing. There will come a point where major season demand starts to dwindle, where you will see a lot of the materials crash real quick. Mate went for an interview at the head office of the company Pets at Home. Pets allowed in the office for all employers. He said it was total chaos. Yeah, I don't know how you get anything done. Like I said, it's kind of amusing once in a while when somebody takes, you know, their dog to the office. But there's really strong reason for them to not be there every day. Because your productivity goes out the fucking window, I can tell you for a fact. Are we looking at another expansion where every material costs 0.3 to 2 gold? Well, it'll all be about the bottlenecks. This is why I'm still very gung-ho on moats, because I still truly believe the actual bottleneck long-term will be the moats. That when you take into account just how many materials are needed in each individual craft, you start to realize that your shopping list consists of more moats than it does of anything else. And we haven't really seen the full effect of this yet, because at the moment, it's very early, right? The season's 2 days old. The season's 2 days old, but we're starting to see just how much demand is kicking in for certain stuff. Now, there's a big stockpile of moats. There's a huge stockpile of moats, so they're not going to run out particularly quickly. There's a huge stockpile of them, but look how quickly some of the raw materials run out. When the big demand kicks in, and we start to see people go shopping to replenish what they sold the night before, and every day the shopping list is, I need 10,000 moats and I need 1,000 herbs. You know, it won't take too long before the numbers start to change. But it is going to be interesting to see just where the price of most materials, like, ends up sitting, because there's no safety net this time. We had Thaumaturgy in the last expansion, which was a really good safety net. Ooh, that was 1,000 gold plus node. Thaumaturgy was a really good safety net. As soon as one material got too cheap, or equally when another material got too expensive, processing could happen to balance the books again. Whereas right now we've got Sanguithorn at 2 gold apiece and high quality Azerut at 350 gold apiece. We're seeing as much as a 10 times multiplier on the value of normal quality to high quality. Just because what we're now seeing is a big surge of people trying to buy up the high quality stuff. At the moment, they got plenty of moats to buy. Moats ain't the problem. Those stocks are going to start to get battered every single day. And it's because moats are used pretty generically across all of the crafting professions. When your herbalists go out and they buy 10,000 moats, and they buy, 2,000 or 3,000 herbs, and then your enchanters go out and they buy 10,000 moats, and they buy a few thousand dust and shards, and then when your leather workers go out and they buy a couple of thousand leather and 10,000 moats, you start to see the pattern. Gatherers can't convert rank 1 mats this time as well. Yeah, exactly. This is what's causing such a huge disparity in the price. There's no way to up convert quality 1 to quality 2. We had that 5 times multiplier for the last 2 expansions. We now don't have, which was another safety net, another safety barrier to ensure that if rank 3s ran out and rank 2s got too cheap, then, well, you just up convert some rank 2s and then, hey presto, you got rank 3s. This is actually going to cause some pretty wild, spicy prices on rank 3s for a while. Because a reset can happen and there's fuck all anybody can do about it. That's what we've seen over the last 2 days on the herbs and the ore prices. They are goblin inflated right now, but they're goblin inflated and there's nothing anybody can do about it other than go and farm some more. And we're still early enough in the expansion that herbalists and miners don't really have. The ratio gets pretty wild when you're full build with herbing and mining. But obviously we're nowhere near that right now. The resets on high quality materials are going to be really impactful. This will create huge swings in the price even more so, making mass crafting yet harder. Basically meaning you got to be on the right side of that material reset or you are absolutely cooked. If you're doing any top quality mass crafting, you need to be the person resetting the price on the materials. Dare I say it? Because you'll start to see it happening earlier and earlier and earlier as people want to be ahead of the curve with it. That if people are burning, if alchemists are burning through a whole bunch of rank 3 herb, insert herb name here, and they know that if they have to pay 50 gold more for that herb, then they might as well not bother that week, and bang goes their profits. Well, then it means that for reset day on Wednesday, they put... Did I get 19 Azerut from that node? Fuck, only that was rank 2. That if they get, if they go and... If they go reset the price on rank 3 herbs on a... If they leave it until Tuesday night, somebody might have already done it. It's going to really, really, really be about getting your materials at the cheapest price. And this is why I'm not convinced this day trading on mass crafting that we're seeing. I feel it's so dangerous for people. So dangerous. That if you start trying to buy mats, mass craft stuff, sell stuff, and you're doing it on a reset day, your material cost is going to be through the fucking roof compared to somebody else's. And you won't know it. And this is the thing, these players won't know it. They won't know that their material price is through the roof compared to somebody else. All they will see is somebody undercut a market by 50% and think people are hacking and the game's rigged. And the reality is that they've, you know, their eyes are half closed. With present company, you know, I want to make it very clear that tools like Craft Sim are incredible. Absolutely incredible add-ons. The fact that we've had access to this literally from day one, this expansion, is like incredible. But at the same time, it causes a lot of people to heavily rely on these add-ons, and they just look at the add-on and go, oh, the add-on says that this is profitable. Oh, it says it's profitable with buying ore at 70 gold a piece. Well, it says I could make a 10% profit on prospecting right now, but then, you know, that ore at 70 gold a piece has been jacked up, and the profit is coming from one gem that has been flipped 20 minutes earlier. Like, it's super risky. It's super risky. Tools need to, you know, people should put emphasis on the fact that tools are tools. But I see a lot of focus on sort of like day trading to try and make profits with professions, and it's just not going to work for so many people. I bought 60k of each moat last night. I think a lot of people have squirreled away a lot of moats. I hope I've not like been too It's the only thing I've really publicly spoken about a bunch. Not killing them. I'm gonna have to, aren't I? Can't fly. Rather have some stock than not have stock. Well, true. Like, my perspective on moats is that when they're 2 gold a piece, like, if you buy 10,000 moats at 2 gold a piece, like, if it all goes horribly wrong and I'm completely wrong, well, you'll make that back in an hour's worth of farming. Like, you know, it's no major loss, right? But I still think, on the flip side, there's a strong probability that moats could end up being 20, 30, 40, 50 gold a piece in a couple of weeks' time. Just due to, like, what I mentioned before, that slowly but surely the stocks of them will get hoovered up. It's just that they've stacked up and up and up pretty aggressively in the first couple of weeks. Sometimes it's actually a bit weird how dependent crafters are. Introduced a bug that killed simulation mode a few days ago and the Discord exploded. Yeah. Yeah, it's something personal that I've always tried to do. I'm more than happy to teach people how to, like, use these tools. They're fantastic. I mean, I'm not the best out there with TSM, but I'm probably way above average. And I see a lot of people, like, they download and they install TSM as they think that they can just install it and it will magically make gold, when it then becomes quite difficult to explain to people, no, you need to set this up. Oh, what do you mean I need to make groups and attach operations and stuff? But it's, you know, I try often to put across the thought that these are tools that help you do the job. You need to know how to do the job. You need to know how to do the job ahead of time. The tool is just meant to help you do the job maybe quicker and maybe a little bit easier and take out some of the monotonous, repetitive tasks. But I see a lot of people using things like Craft Sim and spreadsheets to avoid learning best practices of the system, and instead using it just as to go, oh, well, you know, the add-ons, the spreadsheet said I make 5% margin on this. Let me go and buy these 30% inflated materials and then hope that I make profit and hope I don't get undercut. It's just a recipe for disaster. Absolute recipe for disaster. What tools and stats do we use for gathering? Well, I've gone full finesse. I've just gone hard finesse. There's an argument for a perception build, but I don't really think perception is valuable yet. And I say yet, but perception would be valuable for herbalism, but it would require the price of lotuses to be about 3k plus, I believe. Is roughly what I've mathed out to be. You'd want lotuses to be about 3k plus, and you'd want to stack perception so high that you could reliably get 10 of them an hour. At that point, a perception build will probably outpace a finesse build, but I don't think we have the knowledge points to properly do that, because to really push into herbalism lotuses, you need to be capping like 3, if not 4 of the nodes, really. I don't think we got the knowledge points to do it yet. This is me doing brain maths rather than actual, like, anything calculated. TLDR is I don't think you can totally discredit perception, but it's a little bit more gambly. Probably absolutely slaps if you can get 7 or 8 lotuses an hour, and you can sell your lotuses at the random occasional hour when they peak at 2k or something right now. But for a more consistent hourly rate, I think finesse is just full finesse is the play. But like I said, please don't believe I'm in any way, shape, or form an expert at this. I haven't even learned all of me mining points. Look, missing 7 mining points that have sat in me bags. Yo, what's my moxie looking like? 380 and 290 moxie. Gatherers have absolutely no reason for any of this at all ever, do they? Yeah, what the flipping hell does a herbalist or a miner do with moxie? What actually do they do? Just stack it up to 600 and buy bags. How weird. It goes to show this clearly wasn't the original design of moxie. Because why the Christ would you have profession-specific moxie for gathering when it doesn't do shit? It's not used for anything anyway. You're not buying recipes. What recipes you got to buy? I'm saving mine in case they implement something in the future. I mean, yeah, that might be a thing. Can you imagine in season 2 they like make you buy with moxie the skill to pick up new herbs or something, and everybody's burnt their moxie on goodie bags? That'd be chaos. After doing gathering with 100% deafness, I can't go back, even if it'd be more gold per hour to do something else. I mean, I've got throwaway money. There's a possibility of just putting together a full deafness. Well, so I only need to swap out the tools, really, don't I? There's no deafness enchant, though, is there? Or is there? Flipping, I don't even know. I hadn't even thought about it. It's probably completely silly, but I can understand the appeal of it. It would probably be better later in the expansion, though, wouldn't it? When you've got your full knowledge tree and stuff, and you are literally just one-tapping a node. What's going on with the engineering patron orders? I'm getting 4 times 2 knowledge point ones. That's 16 knowledge points. Only from patron orders. Well, 4 times 2 is 8 for starters. Profession-specific bags make some of the Moxies worthless. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. You had to choose between a second prospector on a second account or diversifying in different gems. What would you choose? I would ask how frequently are you actually, how much time are you actually spending prospecting? If you are genuinely able to spend hours and hours and hours standing there prospecting, offloading that duty to a second account is freeing up an awful lot of time on your main account. But if you're not actually doing all that much prospecting, which I truly believe you probably won't need to do all that much prospecting, not for Season 1 at least anyway, there'll be enough margin in mass crafting gems, I would guess, just by smart purchasing of your gems ahead of time to maybe not need that prospector. But for safety reasons, a prospector on a bonus account that can just do it in the background is always a play. Stupid copper, leave it alone. When a common gem's going to crash? Common gem market is baffling me, to be honest. The common gem market is completely baffling me. I can't quite get... I mean, I think it's about to happen, right? The reason there was sort of... my take on this is that the reason they have normalized is because there wasn't demand for any of it. Right? So in a world where nobody wants anything, everything sort of starts to equal out in terms of price. This is why diamonds were the same price as uncommon gems. Because realistically, nobody wanted any of it. And so prospecting was just a simple maths calculation, you know, input versus output. With nobody wanting any of it, the prices on everything normalized. But now, in theory, the demand will kick in for both diamonds and the flawless gem cuts. Meant to tag that. Which will in turn, and there isn't going to be any magical demand for the uncommon gems. My theory was that uncommon gems are just fundamentally going to be cannon fodder for crushing. You'll crush all of the uncommon gems and you'll sell all the flawless gems. That's how you'll do prospecting. The price of flawless gems slowly going up, or not even slowly in some cases, but with the price of flawless gems going up, because people are now actually trying to craft top-end gems and sell them, you will probably then see prospectors being more comfortable dropping the price of the uncommon gems, or doing what they probably should do, which is just crushing the uncommon gems into dust and selling the dust instead. But I think it's also got something to do with the fact that there's not enough knowledge points to do both yet. I don't think Jewel Crafters, even if you've been real sweaty with your patron orders, I don't think Jewel Crafters have enough knowledge points to do both prospecting and crushing properly on one toon. Still sort of has to be split across two. As soon as there's enough knowledge points to do it all on one, though, prospectors will be able to like do the job properly, which is buy ore, prospect it, sell the shit that's worth something, crush the stuff that's not. That's my guesstimation, at least, anyway. Will you have this? Twitch drop, get the Cuddly Void Gurgle Housing Deco item March 26th. Yep. What's that? Where's that? I've not heard of that one. Is there another one? It's next week's. A treasure that is not interactable. Interesting. Augment runes are already below 1k. I pray they go up. This is a dumping situation. That's a panic sell thing. Augment runes below 1k is a panic sell thing. There has clearly been people that have been buying them anytime they've dropped below about 1200 gold for the entire first 2 weeks of the expansion, 3 weeks of the expansion. The reason they're going down further is because people are panicking. People are panicking that they're not going up, and so they're posting more of them on the auction house. It's another one. It'll take time. It'll take time for them to go up because you need the surplus to get churned through. It's one of those don't panic. Don't panic moments. There will be points where you'll be, you know, there won't be as many of them as is needed. I mean, we haven't had Mythic Plus yet. We haven't had Mythic Raid open up yet. This is just people panic selling them early. You got real deep pockets. You double down right now. Never miss an Azerroot. On a completely different topic, how are you, by the way? How's life? Thanks for asking. On a completely different topic, I'm gonna be honest. I am tired. Is what I am right now. But that is mostly due to the fact that it has been winter. I have still not, after over a decade, got used to a Finnish winter. The sheer lack of sunlight gets to me. We have today actually, I think, is the transition day. I think today is the day where the day is now longer than it is shorter, or there's more hours of sunlight than there is not, or something. Or they call it some sort of equinox or something. Can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I go flipping. I go hibernation mode in the winter in this country, and I can't avoid it. Plus, on top of the fact that, you know, we've been pushing with expansion launch and stuff. Generally speaking, yes, in that regards, I'm tired. I could do with a week or two off, like off. I know I didn't stream for a couple of weeks, but they were two of the busiest weeks. They were two of the busiest weeks I've had in a long time. So they've not been off weeks. I know Boohoo plays video games, wants time off. I know, I get it. I know it's not relatable. But yeah, I could do with a small vacation. Like book a week in Portugal or something. Disappear for a week. Sheer lack of light from an Englishman must be zero light. Well, luckily I live in the south of Finland, to where there is at least some sun in the winter, and there is at least some darkness in the summer. But yeah, up north it's flipping cooked. I wonder what Blizzard made. Well, I wonder what made Blizzard change the inscription skill requirements in fall season. I feel like they didn't like the fact that some rank 2s were going down in price already. No, it was completely busted, and they got feedback 5,000 times from me and every other person that looked at it on the beta, telling them that it was broken. When you do the, you know, there's a somewhat general rule that with all of your skill and all of your knowledge points in the right places, you should just about be able to craft something at max quality. Inscription was the one place that general rule didn't really apply. And because of that, myself and many other people told Blizzard that this is cooked. It was just clearly not a very high priority thing for them to fix, and they've only just got round to doing it. Because apparently there was no crunch, and apparently this was the quickest expansion they've ever made. It's yeah, it was clearly a case of they did not have the time to finish everything they wanted to finish before it went live, so. But because they don't, you know, they don't tell us any of this, there's no... They don't tell us what they plan to do, or, you know, if they came out and said, yeah, we know Inscription is a little bit scuffed, but, you know, we'll fix it, then there's more, then you can go, oh, okay, this is going to change soon. They don't do any of that. Like, they don't, there's almost zero communication on what they intend to do. So a lot of us are left guessing. And ultimately, there comes a point, much like Moxie on Profession Tools, right? There comes a point where, regardless of what you think they should do, or you think they are doing, you just have to take the game for what you see, right? You just have to take it at face value. We waited weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for them to theoretically add Moxie to Profession Tools. Then they never did, and it was 2 days before the expansion launched, and they decided to jack up the amount of fused vitalities by 4,000%. And we're like, oh, they're doing it this way then, are they? I'd already somewhat signed off to the fact that there was going to be Moxie on Profession Tools, and I was half planning for literally day one to be absolute chaos, because everybody would be looking to craft epic tools on day one. Of course, they had plans. I just think Fused Vitality was their backup plan and not their primary plan. But the more you dig into the development of this game, the more you realize that a lot of stuff is just rushed out the door. You know, they have a priority list and they have only so many hours in the day. Yo, where did the Dun-Dun rat come from? Hello? Who's got a Dun-Dun rat? Oh shit, I've just remembered. There's the buffs in this zone, isn't there? I haven't unlocked all of the... See, this is because I haven't played the fucking game. There's all the buffs that you get and you unlock. That's the Dun-Dun buff. I should maybe go unlock the Dun-Dun buff. Doesn't that give it? That gives a deafness boost, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure of it. I'm sure it does. Nine Azerot. Why can I not get 9 Azerot at high quality? I got 18 Azerot from one node earlier, but it was flipping low quality. I could get that to proc on high quality. It's Christmas. How many alloys is needed for one epic tool? What do you mean the fused vitality? Well, you need 20 fused vitality, and they cost 800 unalloyed abundance each. So it's 16,000 unalloyed abundance per epic piece of crafting gear. Which is, even if you perform optimally and don't incur any bugs, like 2.5 weeks worth of Dun-Dun runs. This is partly the reason why there's been so much frustration about abundance being buggy as all hell. Because where crafters are concerned, it's actually pretty damn important. You know, we plan our crafting professions in the same vein that Mythic Raiders plan their gearing path. And to have something that's like so inconsistent, yet also simultaneously so vital to a lot of players. I've likened it to like Mythic Raiders getting 1 extra spark just because of poor Blizzard coding. Some people getting an extra spark and some people not. Can you imagine how... I mean, the forums would be on fire if that happened. But because it's crafting. Like it doesn't get taken seriously. Where did you go, Mr. Lasher? Remember when Blizzard quality meant something? I was there, Gandalf. Yeah. I've seen some snippets of that Jeff Kaplan interview with, what's his name? Lex dude. I've not watched the whole thing because it's a fucking 5-hour interview. I ain't got that much time in my day. But I've seen some clips of it. And there was some one of the clips I saw of it. I'm gonna have to ad lib a lot of this because I can't remember the exact wordings of it. But there was oh, it was about the Green Hills of Stranglethorn Vale quest line from back in Vanilla, where you had to collect. Old players will remember doing it legitimately. Newer players might remember doing it in Classic. The Green Hills of Stranglethorn quest line, where you basically had to get like 18 different pages of this book and hand them all in to a quest. You could only get the pages randomly from killing mobs in Stranglethorn Vale. Was unanimously hated back in the day. The reason being is because you only had 17 bag slots anyway, and having to carry around 18 pages to hand in one quest was, you know, kind of cancerous. But he speaks about, as a young junior developer at that time, even, you know, working for Blizzard, which was prestigious back then. Like, it was clearly a rookie mistake, that quest. It was a rookie mistake in terms of the fact that as a game designer, you have to learn the difference of doing something that is like fun for you to do, something that is fun for the player to do, or something that's just like good game systems. And you know, the Green Hills of Stranglethorn quest at the time was just really poor game design, but it was only really good for him. It gave him an opportunity to do something he enjoyed, which was telling a story in a video game. The net result of that, though, was that it was very, very, very unanimously poorly received by all the players. And it was really funny to hear him say this, because this is what you can clearly tell happens at Blizzard to this day. Nobody is given the chance to learn from their mistakes at Blizzard anymore. You can tell. The team's too big. They got 700 devs, 700 plus devs, split into multiple different teams, working on alternative expansions. And nobody is... The churn rate of developers to start with is probably much higher than it ever was. And none of the Blizzard devs are able to learn from their mistakes, which is probably why we see the same... what feels like schoolboy errors happening all the fucking time. Because it's a different dev that's responsible for doing it. And everybody's just making the same junior schoolboy errors over and over again. And by the time they get the chance to learn from it, they've been shipped off and moved on and are doing something else. And this then in my opinion, this falls on senior management at Blizzard. Because what they're clearly not doing is how they clearly don't have enough time or resources as management in Blizzard to do the quality control and to pass down that experience and that, you know, okay, back in the day when I was, you know, a quest dev, for example, I quickly learned that a quest like this shouldn't exist. Maybe we should do it this way instead, you know, passing down the knowledge, you know, as management should do. But that clearly doesn't happen. New devs are coming in all the time and they're making these schoolboy errors, which is not really their fault, but it's why you start to see the same things happen over and over and over again. They have a QA issue, to be honest. Every expansion, a few thoroughly frustrating, boring quests keep coming through. Yeah, genuinely. You're like, look how long it took them. And this is something that Blizzard did genuinely learn. They learn over time that escort quests can fuck off, right? It took them a while, But they learn over a few expansions. This was in their infancy when they went through the first few expansions. They slowly learned that escort quests are the most cancerous quests that have ever been designed in the game. They made some improvements to the escort quests over the years. They made it so that you could group up to them. This character is about to start an escort quest. Would you like to share the quest, sort of thing? And then they made it so they were like semi-instanced, and they made it so that like multiple characters could be doing it simultaneously. But eventually they learned that, okay, this is just terrible, terrible game design. Let's not do it. And in theory, for the most part, we've not really seen any gross escort quests since. But that was a sign of the developers learning over time. But very, very frequently, these schoolboy errors slip through again. And it's a QA thing, it's a quality assurance thing. That it's just not happening as effectively as it should be. People are given responsibility to, you know, own a task, but in a junior position without the past experience of knowing that, okay, this is wrong. You know, you see the same errors time and time again. The fuck are these dudes? Why are they killing me? Bear tank, I don't die. Apparently I do. As a QA for 15 years, I can tell you it's not the QA problem, it's the lack of it. Well, yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. If there was significantly more quality assurance happening, then, you know, these things wouldn't slip through, but there is clearly only so many hours in a day and only so much manpower that can do something. Bear got nerfed hard. No, Manthias playing Bear got nerfed hard. Escorting that one slow-ass Tauren grandma in Legion. Yeah, we had to do that again in Remix, didn't we? As she trundles across the bridge. Fucking hell, grandma, move! Move! Yeah. Still haven't learned how to not bring in the same bugs every expansion. Yeah, and this is because they do, you know, code is written, and it just gets passed from one team to another team. They move from, you know, Team A works on expansion A, then responsibility moves on to Team B, and they just copy Team A's codes in, and it gets copied in, bugs and all. We've now seen this three expansions in a row with some pretty egregiously broken stuff as well. Tailoring bolts, I'm looking at you. Then the last bit she suddenly runs, yeah. Like she's got a big bad wolf chasing her. That should be the trick in Legion. With that grandma quest, if you're a Worgen, she should move a bit faster. You put a red cape on as a Worgen, she starts moving fast. That'd be a nice little Easter egg, wouldn't it? Thoughts on golds and buying all rank 2 Dawn crystals? The man's lost his mind. No, he'll be alright. He'll be fine. He's got plenty of enough gold to do silly things. Doesn't work like that. Blizzard's divided into designers and engineers. Engineers create the tools for the designers, so most of the game is created by designers who don't code. I mean, I'm not singling down any one individual here. I'm just saying, like, generally as a team, it's kind of how, you know, how it gets put together. This is where you see the difference between, like, small indie devs who, you know, are multi-talented and, you know, a handful of 5 people could make an entire game, for example. So that, you know, there's the in-depth knowledge of basically all aspects of the game by all individuals. Creates very polished products. The clear and obvious downside of having a team as big as Blizzard's is that there is seemingly an awful lot that's lost in translation between one person and another. What's that phrase? Too many chefs spoils the broth or something comes to mind. Slay the Spire 2, such a good game. Though I don't even know if they're a small team. I've heard a few people say good things about Slay the Spire 2. I genuinely enjoyed the first one. I used to play it a lot on my phone, actually, more than anything else. Bad branching process fixes sitting in different branches deployed Lord knows how. Oh, I don't discredit the level of logistics that must go into producing a game like World of Warcraft. I'm very aware of that. I dramatically oversimplify a lot of these things. But this because, you know, that becomes my point though, really. You know, it is a complicated process, one that does need tender loving care, and one that can't just be, you know, can't just be casually shat out. Without that tender loving care, the cracks are very easy to see. Right. I think we're about done in this zone. I might go do some skinning for a bit. Get our daily skinners out of the way. We've done the bet, well, 86,000 gold. It's taken me 2 hours to do it, which is by no means record breaking. But, you know, we're still the best part of 100k richer. For 2 hours having a good chat, can't argue that one. Without having to risk any of my own gold. Wonder if we should push for 10 minutes to round it off as a nice 100k and then throw it on the auction house. No, it's a third of a token in one go, isn't it? Yo, it's Christmas in here. Opper seam. Treasure. And a big boy node. This is going to spawn doodahs, isn't it? There's a pretty big cost for the fast patch cadence. Additionally, they've had a hiring freeze for a long time. The team isn't growing. They, correct me if I'm wrong though, didn't they recently acquire an entire production studio though? So I can understand why there's a bit of a freeze on the go at the moment. I don't keep up to date with all of the details. I enjoy playing the game. I don't sweat over the company too much, but it's I'm pretty sure they recently added a good 80 plus people to their roster by integrating another company. Something along those lines. They were never getting that. That was years ago. I mean, I'm years old. Where's the herb? Oh, Lush Azurut. Gone, big one. Quality 2. 5? How is it 5? Stupid game. I've had 18 from a non-Lush one before. I do think some of these nodes are actually busted, by the way. Like, I've quite frequently like tapped a Lush node and it's given me less than a normal node. Normal node? Flipping words. Couple more, another Lotus or two maybe, or some big juicy high quality. Flipping hell, stole my unborn tin. It'd be nice to round off this little session at 100k. Do you need to do all of your patron orders to get new ones? No, you have no control over when you get new ones. They're on a timer. Patron orders work similar to world quests, for example. They sort of come and go on a 3-day-ish cadence. The Flicker orders, Flickers are daily. They only ever turn up and have a 24-hour cooldown. So if you are playing catch up with your professions, you do need to log in daily, but you got no control over when you get new ones. There's also something about when you first pick up the profession is the day that they then reset on or something. So this means for a lot of players it is in sync, but it's not in sync for everybody depending on when you pick up the profession. It's in sync because everybody picks up their professions on the first day of the expansion, for example. It's been 4 days this expansion, not the 3.5 like it was before. They vary, don't they? I've seen some that are like sticking around for 5 days. They seem to be weird. The only safe bet is to just literally log on and check them daily anyway. The fact that they threw catch-up at us before we'd even qualified for it has basically meant that you got to check your patron orders every day regardless. And that occasional one that turns up that costs 20k that you refuse to do will set you behind the curve either way. There's an argument to say I should check my patron order, to be honest. Maybe once we've hit the once we hit the 6-figure club. Need a couple more big nodes to hit the 6-figure club. I've suddenly realised all my buffs have fell off. I haven't reapplied them. Only we had weak auras to give us a massive fucking great big flashing put your buffs back on, you idiot kind of alert. If only. I'm sure there's add-ons for that sort of stuff. I'm not installing them. 10 Argent Leaf, we'll take that. Oh, only normal quality again. Every time I get a big proc on the quantity, it's on normal quality shit. Oh, party going on in here. 1 high quality unbuilt tin. And I'll take it, but 1. 1. We'll kill all of these together. Double team them. Is Overload worth it in Zulaman? What's Overload doing over here? Overload in Zulaman is going to... maybe? Doesn't it give you a perception buff out here? Isn't it a perception buff you get out here? Maybe. I haven't been using it. Isn't it a 5-minute perception buff? Like I said, I'm learning on the job here. Flipping hell, party! Everybody, all the druids are woken up. Oh yeah, you got to kill that fucking stupid elite bear though, don't you? Yeah, that's why I've not been doing it, I remember. Yeah, lack of gear problems is going to cause me to not do that. As valuable as it probably is if you're geared and can nuke that thing down. And you can... Well, you're not going to be able... If you go overload build, I suspect you can probably overload once every 5 minutes if you're hitting enough nodes. But you would then also need to spec... You know, it's a little bit difficult to both go overload build, overload spec to do that. And also... to stack perception to really give you the boost of it. And it's only going to benefit you on the herbs, because Dazzling Thorium nobody cares about. So there's probably some value in it. Rich Umbral Tin, 3 ore. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of these nodes don't work as intended. Oh, you see, this is where deafness would really help. I'll try it on my main. It destroyed my level 82 farmer. Yeah, this is going to be the problem. I'm going to ding flipping level 90 on this toon eventually. And I'm going to have 123 item level. Luckily, though, we were talking about this a touch yesterday. You can zerg your way to like 250 item level real fast. When enough points for the 10-minute buff, it could be decent. Maybe still not worth it at the moment, though. I think the argument for stacking perception's pretty weak at the moment already. So aggressively speccing into it doesn't seem the most value. It's one of those. It's one where it will flip flop, won't it? It's probably not the most value right now, but that's not to say it won't be. It's kind of why I think spinning up like a couple of urban miners that you can spec in different directions. As long as you keep them all, as long as you do an hour's worth of farming on each one each week to keep them up to speed, you'd be able to then flip flop between whichever one sort of performs best at any given time. I get 90 on 42 pandas tomorrow? Go on. 42 characters. You've absolutely been smashing it. Far more dedication to the cause than I have. Surprised how many people are buying rank 5 tools for 50k gold, whilst you can buy a rank 2 for 10k and have basically the same stats. Gotta min-max. Gotta min-max. Like we were talking earlier, people who are People who are then buying these are probably looking at, like, I mean, this isn't always the case, but a good strong percentage of them, I would say, are looking to do mass crafting, where you like, people go in with the belief that there is no choice but to have BIS stats. Because there's a bit of an understanding out there that your profession and your tools and accessories are like 90% of the importance. I'm partly to blame for that, because I haven't undone that theory. But there's far more of a win to be gained by getting your materials cheap. Oh, flipping out. I killed the mob, then the node sport disappeared. Go on. Azroot. Big numbers. 3. You need 40,000 crafts to recover the difference. It's just better to buy the cheap one and upgrade it later. 2 resourcefulness difference is less than 1 gold per craft difference. Oh, well, on resourcefulness, I'd agree with you. But, you know, as we all know, multi-craft matters a lot more. Like I said, if we're talking generally, I agree with you. But there are very many specific scenarios where there's no reason to not have the best. I'm never getting that one. Where are we at? 96k. And round this out at a nice round 100k. Go on, Azroot, you can do it. Quality 2. Hey, there we go. 3 quality 2 Azroot. There's 1,000 gold in the bank. Catching monthly live for once on a day off. How much Azroot rank 2 have you farmed? Want to buy all of it? 300 gold in bulk, no quantity too small. You and everybody else, my friend. Hence my stacking into it. My herbalist has gone 40 Azroot, 40 silver, argent leaf. Ugh. And I'm then putting points into the Lily Looter for the mana lily gains. Completely sack off Tranquility Bloom and Sanguithorn. There's kind of a little bit of an argument for putting some unlocking mulching. You need 10 points in here, 10 points in here, and then magical mulch. Which one is it? There's one of the mulches that kind of has some value. Magical mulch, guaranteed finesse on the next gathered. Yeah, the guaranteed finesse. There is a little bit of value in this. The fact that Tranquility Bloom's so pissing cheap. To spend 40 gold to get guaranteed finesse. It's on an hour cooldown, mind, but you can use it on a big node. Guaranteed finesse on a lush Azroot node or something could be an extra few thousand gold every hour. But of course, to unlock that, it's, what's it, 10 points in here, and then you get that just by unlocking. Yeah, it's 10 points in here. Imbued one is a guaranteed lotus. There's some sneaky interesting AFK. There's some sneaky AFK builds with herbalism, isn't there? Lotus, there's a way to go if you can. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, yeah, for sure. You have no buffs. Yeah, I know. I'm not putting buffs on. I'm about to stop. I'm rounding off at 100k of value, and then we're gonna go do some skinning, I think. These coming in at, yeah, these are all turning up at 152 now, which are worth basically nothing. I'm in that weird level bracket now. I don't get good BOEs again until I hit level 90. Oh, no, oh, careful, that's going to disconnect me. Valeria got to a level, she can help me kill the boss while I auto-attack and go AFK to clean my house. Takes her a whole minute after touch of death, but still. Fair play. Is she better than Bran? Or is it lesser of two evils? I used to craft bags, for example. The resourcefulness helps, or to craft armor, weapons, etc. Like I said, I would strongly agree with you if you're stacking resourcefulness. There isn't that much of a value in pushing for... Let me reiterate, if you're doing work order kind of stuff, you have no need for higher quality tools whatsoever. If you're going anywhere near mass crafting, it's difficult to even compete in the first place. If you're doing any sort of mass crafting, like, you should just get the top shit. Otherwise, you're going to sign yourself out of the game before you even begin. Lesser, she jumps around like shit and pulls everything instead of just doing damage on my target. Okay. If you're in that weird level bracket, buy some gear on the auction house. People sell the mid-level stuff dirt cheap. Yes, true. It would make me a little bit stronger for sure. Couple of high quality tranquility bloom. Argent leaf. Alright, couple more nodes and then we're done. Couple more nodes. Nowhere near enough deafness for that one. Tempted to waste a bit of gold, you know, to stack deafness just to see how good it is. You've intrigued me now. I'm just going full zooms. Even if it doesn't make me as much gold. The fact that you just go full zooms. Fast as fuck, yo. Yay, there we go. We've crossed the 100k barrier. Right. Half back. Half back. Sell it. Any tips on gathering on 2 accounts together? I find skyriding on both hard. Yeah, you just got to use steady flight. 2 accounts is probably not really any more optimal than 1 account. It probably is, but certainly not by a factor of 2. You know, there's the inherent downside of that you have to use steady flight, which slows you down, which probably takes 30% of your performance away by using steady flight. But then obviously you gain by using 2 accounts. But I kind of don't really think it's worth it. Oh, a couple of bonus mats. Don't mind if I do. Especially the 6 high quality mana lily, we take those. Right, let me get rid of the trash first so we don't start trying to accidentally weirdly sell any of that. Let's slam this lot on the auction house. Go, go, gadget, go. These 133 BOEs need to be sold. I might actually... I'm on a weird-ass realm at the moment. I might put those in the war bank. The 133s in the war bank. These flipping 152s I'll just sell. These are worth 50 gold a piece. They're not even worth doing anything for disenchanting. Although a 152 trinket is worth equipping. You might be right. Do we buy ourselves? Do we buy ourselves a cheeky upgraded set of gear? It's not going to cost more than a couple of 100 gold, is it? Not that it's going to be particularly useful, but just to make the next couple of hours of farming in the next couple of levels a bit easier. Two-handed, one of them, usable. 171 is the item level we can achieve. 171 is as high as we can go. 165 is close enough, and it doesn't cost me 5k. Yoink, one of those. Go the armor route. Let's get them. Helm. 165. On a dumbass realm, so all of this stuff isn't actually as cheap as it should be, but necklace. Ooh, 178, spicy. Shoulders. Ouch. Okay, we're not upgrading our shoulders then. Yo. Cloak. Doesn't look like we're upgrading this either. This is the downside of being on a dumb server. Chest piece. That'll do. That'll do. Racers. Made a killing on those. Gloves. Wink. Waste. Legs. Oh, okay, it's more than I want to spend, but I don't care. Why make all this gold if we don't spend it? Yoink. Couple of rings, maybe. These will be expensive. Gleaming copper bands we can do. These unique equips, they are. Do a gleaming band. And we can do a tarnished signet, I guess. Mix and match. Trinkets at this level? Probably don't exist, do they? No. They changed inscription. Yeah, they did. They hotfixed it yesterday. To the frustration of many. Right, we started at 126. How far is this going to get us? $158. Not bad. 30 item levels. Made an alt for oils specifically. I screwed up. I had no idea they come in stacks of 20. That's why you're that's why the auction house is your personal bank. Rank 1 cooldown bonds have gone negative. Do you think this is the new normal? I've made about 1 million gold with my tailors. What should I switch them to now? No, don't panic because we're on day 2 of the season. Relax. Relax. Don't worry. Don't panic. Start changing all your characters about because we're on day 2 of the season. It'll be good, don't you worry. You're not in no refunds on that? No, this is some... I'm in the gold... I've got the guild called Gold Capped on this old server of mine. This is a really old character. This is actually one of my OG farming characters. This dudette has got like all of the old farming stuff up until Shadowlands. I haven't used this character since. When in doubt, panic, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it. Keep churning out your bolts. Just list them at a price that is profitable. You'll be fine. Let me go and put a few bits of 133 gear in the warbank. Oh no! That's normalized out my gold. Ah, shit. I should never have opened the warbank. I was trying to keep track of how much gold this character had made. Flippity do. Right, well, whatever. All goes in the same pot. Soulbound stuff. See you laters. Oh, I had a 152 version of that. Oh well, sell it. Right, time to do a little bit of skinning, I think. Time to do a little bit of skinning. Withdrew what you read in chat. Does it say? Oh, it does, yeah. Warband Miser does actually say in chat. Well, we can, yeah. That's probably... That's the play. Withdraw... 90,639. Good shout. Thanks. Yeah, we put all of that on the auction now, so I can come back claim our winnings later. There's only 37,000 gold of it left on the auction house, so I'm going to assume about 60k sold absolutely instantly. Love to see that. Yeah, let's do some skinning. Before I do that, I'm going to take a quick break for 2 minutes. Stretch my legs, quick bathroom break. I've been sat down for like 3.5 hours straight now. Give me 2 minutes, boys and girls. Okie dokies. Seen in my chat channel, your auction of Azerut has sold for 369 gold. 369 gigadees. Must have been more than a minute or two ago because it's already gone from the list. Nice. Right, I need to spin up the other accounts. And hopefully not crash my PC whilst doing it. We need Olmuthius. Log you in, sir. What have they changed with inscription? Can't find anything on the hotfixes. Yeah, because they didn't tell anybody. It's all of the recipe difficulty stuff that should have changed in beta that they never did has now been changed. Basically meaning you need max rank everything to make max rank Azeruts and soul ciphers and inks and stuff. It's full build similar to everything else now. Sucks if you stacked up a bunch of materials, but GG if you stacked up a bunch of inks. Alrighty. Right, scroll down to the bottom of the list. Now I've got like 40 plus characters on each account. The list is getting pretty long. When do you think we should empty the guild bank? Sell all of our majestic stuff. Sell all of the mats that we've had from it. I'm tempted to like do just a once a week purge of all the mats. It's good for a mailbox opening kind of styly, but it's inefficient from an actual gaining profit from it, I think. Already skinned. Oh, that's interesting. The tooltip says already skinned. Do it every 5 days for stuff like handiworks and skill items. Yeah, doing it in batches is the play. It's this putty cat. There we go. I wonder what the majestic prices are going to do at the weekend. I've had a real suspicion that the last couple of days everything has just been like hyper goblinized. Very much had the impression that both the majestic hides and the fangs have been like A, panic sold, and B, like mass manipulated. It's going to be interesting to see what the actual market ends up balancing at. There's already people sort of panicking and wondering if they're going to like, oh, they're gonna add some, you know, are they going to add some sort of hot fix to this? Are they gonna put in a vendor? Are they going to allow you to convert shit? And I'm like, no. It smells far too much like goblin activity at the moment. It smells far too goblin-like. If we still have 20k majestic hides, what are they right now, 15k. We still have 15k majestic hides in a week's time, then Blizzard might think about doing something. But it's not as ridiculous as a tinderbox situation, so I'm not sure we will see anything. Like I said, I'm pretty convinced it's goblin do goblin things on these. Or all of a sudden everybody wants to craft this bis enchant. Let me just buy out the entire market. Same, so many people I know of, including Golden, flipped the hides for 8 mil plus. Feels like the gold there is already gained. I'm quite sure the market will settle down a little bit. Give it a couple of days. They want to add a Temu thaumaturgy, they could at least give us like 30 to 40 cooldowns of the bouquet and School of Gem Crafts. Yeah, them being on a single day timer kind of. See this where this cooldown stuff is concerned, it always requires careful balancing. Them going from like, oh, it's got no cooldown whatsoever to, oh, everything is attached to the same one cooldown is another fine example of Blizzard's like pendulum swing approach to fixing things. Which took something from being like borderline broken OP, moat printing factory. It took it from that to basically not even worth pressing the button. I'm amazed they didn't put like the same moat cooldown, the same cooldown system on the moats that they have on the tailoring bolts, for example. And I would have then expected it to have been bugged and abused. I don't see why they don't stack up to 8 or stack up to 10 or 16 or something, 30 or whatever. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about a little bit a while ago, of that they never really learn from their mistakes. They have to relearn every single time. Putting a 1 of 1 cooldown on something, I thought was something that Blizzard learned a while ago. The reason we have tailoring bolts that like stack up to 30, for example, is because they learned that 1 of 1 cooldowns promote daily login, and that pisses people the fuck off. But what did they do with moats? They put a 1 of 1 daily cooldown on it. Because clearly, whichever dev it was that was responsible for that fix was not one of the devs from back in the days that learned their lesson that that's really what players hate. They were just told to put a cooldown on it, and they did it. Claws went up to 2k, so there is some upward pressure there. Once again, it's also going to be heavy speculation that like people who were buying claws last week have gone to buy more claws this week, and they've gone, hello, 2k, I'll buy a few more. I haven't bothered selling mine because I'm still pretty sure they'll bounce back a bit. It's very difficult at this time in the expansion to, you know, categorize what's Goblin doing Goblin things and what is actually true supply and demand. Two teams down. I think I've only got 10 teams set up, so this shouldn't take too long. Have you tried the pure skinning farms instead of hunting for majestics? No, I'm not really looking to do anything like that. I'm due to having the 5 account set up. It's far more beneficial for me to spend an hour banging out 40 or so majestic kills and then call it a day. Over here. Even this isn't particularly set up efficiently yet, by the way, just for reference. This is like stage 1 of the process. I eventually want to get 80 out of 80 knowledge points on all the skinners and probably move them to the Void Storm instead. Kill the majestic dude. In theory, I figured out yesterday, I was informed at least, that I could actually be killing the Majestic, the Grand Beast already. As long as I don't skin it, I can replace the lure as many times as I like, which was something I hadn't put 2 and 2 together for. Did we get any goodies on that one? Didn't look like we did. Don't get any goodies. I'll just log them straight out. Finally found out why the Majestic hides are so much more expensive than the others. You craft staves with inscription and need hides. It's probably got more to do with the chest enchant. That is basically best for everybody. That said, there is probably a lot of two-handed staves being crafted right now. Because if I'm led to believe, this raid is very cloth heavy. Leatherworking armor kit needs the hides too. Yeah, the hide goes into some pretty big crafts, or useful crafts. Claw not so much, but I still do kind of partly feel that it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction and people are dumping claws because they're scared that they'll go to 0 or something. It's partly because I always tend to think that most people are pretty binary about how they value things. Something's either the most valuable thing in the world or it's worth nothing. So this is why you've probably seen hides go to the moon and claws get absolutely ruined. Because I bet there's people who are stacking up both of them that have sold all the hides and are now dumping the claws in panic. Oh no, I'm out of lures. Out of lures. Please hold. Wasn't the plan. You what now? The fucking hell's gone on with this? Who resets the price of the lures 10 minutes before I'm trying to do my flipping son of a... Somebody saw me come in. 25k for 10 lures? You mad? 2.5k a day just to spawn the dude. It was me, have fun. Doesn't surprise me. The common arcane wormfish are a pain to get. It's funny, the flipping, the quote unquote common fish are more difficult to get than the rare fish, is what I keep getting told. It's like Blizzard, they got their numbers backwards. Gore guppies are the same, aren't they? They're for the Zulaman lure. All the more reason to piss off to the Voidstorm and do the Grand Beast. We got one Majestic Claw out of that pool. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do this on every character, didn't I? I already broke my own rules. Yeah, 2,500 gold for a single lure. I barely break even unless I get like I barely break even. In fact, I only break even by getting one claw on 4 accounts simultaneously. Lol. You're using Warlock to summon your army? Oh, I'll just fly them all over there. Do they have the same drop chance on each majestic? No, I don't think so. This cat, for example, has a much higher chance for claws, I'm led to believe, which is part of the problem. What camera are you using? How much was it roughly? My camera's complete and utter overkill. It's quite old now, to be fair, but Canon EOS M50, I think. I don't think they make it anymore. It's complete overkill for to be using it as a webcam. It's just I had it, so. Is it possible to target the ones with cheaper lures? You need the right lure for the right zone, and there's one rare in each. Well, there's two rares in the Void Storm, but there's specific locations where you place the lures. Oh, sure, that's my favourite brand. Oh, welcome in Team Finland. I have a lot of Makia clothing. Oh, there's a majestic hide. Which one got the hide? We are on the skin grind. We did the herb and the ore grind this morning. Now we're doing the skin grind. We gone full team farmer. Mass crafting's pissed me off. It's the... Hang on, where's the dude that had the hide? Oh, maybe I've already put the hide in the bank. I'm rage quitting mass crafting. Game's rigged. It's not rigged, it's just really, really, really not worth the effort. I hate that I can't gift the new pet bundles. I wanted to buy it for my friend to bully her with kindness. The bundles you usually can't, can you? Because their price is dynamic based upon how much how many of them you've already got, I think. Bully her with kindness. Don't condone any bullying heroes. That would be mean. 4th account is always slow as hell to load. I don't know why. 1 account seems to be running on dial-up. Give her things to make her cry. Still mean. Still mean. Funny, but mean. You get multi-craft on a skinning tool. With the price of the fish, it makes more sense if you're using one tool to create the summon rares. No. I don't think so. This is another one of those things where I don't really care about the price of the lure. I already take comfort in knowing that the fact that I'm doing this on 4 accounts simultaneously with one lure, realistically, the game can't hate me that much that the price of the lure should be something I care that much about. That's famous last words, but... Who got the hide? Somebody got the hide, not you. You get the hide? You got the hide. Oh, maybe it's because this dude is always still logging out when I log the other ones in. That's probably why. Impatience gets the better of me. I wonder what's more valuable use of my time. Setting up more teams, so I just have more individual kills every day, or spending more time optimizing the teams I already have to get more knowledge points on them so that they get more hides. There's a 50-50 conundrum there, isn't there? Oh, wait, what? Hang on, that's a good one anyway. Where's the putty cat? First for sure. Just setting up yet more teams. To be fair, the setting up of the teams is the somewhat time-consuming aspect of it. That's why I've only set up 10 teams so far. Because my laziness kicks in double time. Moving them all to the Grand Beast lure is probably more valuable use of my time. I don't know. It all needs to happen. What order do we do it in? Only 10? Yeah, only 10. Slacking. This has been my mini side hustle. I've really not put too much time into getting this up and running. Does the Grand Beast give more drops? I don't think it's got... I don't think it's more about the fact that it gives more drops. It's just the fact that it has the chance to drop all 3. And so, for that reason, it will probably be the ultimate endgame one to kill. I like getting 4x drops with the stuff from the points in the bottom left. No, yeah, exactly. This is the thought. Like, I know the ceiling of opportunity is pretty high with getting the knowledge points in order, which is why it's a bit of a 50-50. Do I set more teams up, or do I improve the teams I've got? Party going on that realm. You also kill the Harandar one. I don't move these tunes at all. I don't do the full tour on them. They log in, they kill the beast, they log out. I'd improve the 5 teams. You know you'll burn out in the end if you have like 20 teams. That's probably true. You probably know me well enough to, yeah, to predict that happening. Hey, Love Rocket. Love me a Love Rocket. Kudos to having the OG Love Rocket. S tier mount, that one. Even if we're not meant to call it the Love Rocket anymore. Stupid Blizzard and its political correctness. I'll call it a Love Rocket if I want. Yeah, I should probably at least get a couple of the teams like fully min-maxed. Because at least it will give me an indication to what the process is and that will involve in doing that. And if it doesn't end up being too much of a task. Yeah, if you're just doing this on a single character, or you're doing this on a single account, you can kind of do the world tour. And the world tour, obviously, you're killing more things every day, will be far more lucrative. But my approach is multiple accounts, minimum effort. Really. Log them in, kill a putty cat, log them out, job done. That's my theory, at least. There's a couple of high-value beasts on this realm. I just want to grab the high-value ones at the same time. One of you. Another one over here. Right, get them cooking. Set all of mine up at the Grand Beast and don't even bother killing the other one in the Void Storm. Yeah, I will probably do exactly the same. I can't really see any value in shipping them about too often. Because it's even killing the second one probably quadruples the effort for only double the reward. compared to just killing the Grand Beast, log out. All of them? That's all of them. Did nobody get a shiny? Oh my god, nobody got a shiny. You got a knowledge point. Nobody got a shiny. Stinky. Last 3 days, when I've had the 80 knowledge point builds, my average amounts of hides is 0.45 from the Grand Beast and 0.52 renowned per kill. It's not bad. So in my scenario, that'd be basically 2 per team, wouldn't it? Every day. Do it on one account on 8 tunes. Only kill the 2 Voidstorm ones. The one and the one in Eversong. Making about 100k a day now with the prices going down. I mean, the prices are only going down on the claw and the fin. Flipping hides are going burr. But I am very much of the opinion that that's shenanigans. Maxing the current teams is probably nicer. You'll spend equal amount of time, but you'll just get more stuff than now versus spending more time with the other option. True. Input versus output. Woo makes probably the best point, though. That if I start doing this on 20 teams a day, I just won't do it. It'll take me too long to go through the 20 teams for me to be bothered to do it. Optimizing the 10 teams that are set up is probably a better play. I can always take the other 10 teams of characters and just stand them at the tailoring table. Log them in every 10 days. That's probably a smarter play. Oh, me stinky brights ran out. I've got another one. Or did I accidentally sell it? Did I stupidly only buy one? I bet I've accidentally sold it. Give them enchanting for now because you don't need the table. Oh, that's true. They're open to options. Oh, there was a hide. Yo, these furs are still worth 500 gold apiece. Wasn't expecting those to hold their value. What the claws saying? K9 things. 15 gold apiece. How times do change. Oh, wait, hang on. Cancel that. You still haven't looted. There you go. Wait, did you not loot it either? What's going on here? Hang on. Oh, no, you're good. Losing my mind. All this farming. Brain's gone to mush already. Give me more stinky bright potions. Did I sell them? I bet I sold them. Stinky bright potions. I did. I flipping sold them. God damn. Oh, casual 365,000 gold in the mailbox. On a tune I wasn't expecting. Yoink. Free token. Yoink. Stinkers. Oh, Rose told me there's a toy that does this as well the other day. Probably check to see if I have the toy. I bet I don't. Aha! Nighttime, daytime. Nighttime, daytime. Yeah, you're probably right. In a month's time, I'm not going to want to spend anywhere near as much time on this, am I? I'll get bored. Optimizing the teams I have is probably a better play than stacking more on top. Otherwise, I'll cook myself. But I also could be doing this like way faster if I was actually concentrating. Chatting with you guys, bopping to some tunes, I'm not exactly efficient. What's with this GTA 5 playlist? I don't know even what's playing today. Oh, it's just one of my daily mixes, so it could be anything. Was that doubles? We get doubles? Hide and claw? You get anything fun? No. No. Not in there. Okay. Next team. I think we've got, what, 1, 2 left? It's quite quick to fire through these if I'm actually paying attention. Yeah, one last team. Does the War Within's engineering portable table work with Midnight? Good question. No idea. I do hope they get rid of this stupid crafting table system, though. It's purely done to force all of the crafters to stand around in the capital city rather than go elsewhere. There's no other real need for it. And of course, it keeps everybody in trade chat for the purpose of work orders and whatever. So I see the reason why they do it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. They could sack off the crafting tables. Yeah, at least we don't have to run off into the arse end of a dungeon, though, to do some stuff. Yeah, I will give you that. It should be like the warband thing. You know, like the warbank thing. Just give us a button we can press and put it on a cooldown. If they really want people to do all of the, you know, the real busy work in the main hub, then sure. But like to just quickly bang out something quickly, should be able to do it from anywhere, in my opinion. I earned all the damn knowledge points. Why do I need a flipping table as well? Right, a few bits and bobs from that. Clean up the bank in a second. Oh, hang on, cancel that. Knowledge point on this dude. Oh, yo, this dude got a claw and a hide. Claw and a hide. Sounds like some sort of magical chemical. Actually, putting this pork in the putting the pork in the guild bank is a complete waste of time. I've since learnt. Damn pork should just get vended. Sorry, my necessity for keeping this neat and tidy is an affliction. But having it looks like a rat's nest causes me brain ache. Oh, much more beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Okay, that's the Skinner's done. Doesn't actually take too long. Doesn't actually take too long. What do I need to do on Muthius to get him up to speed, if anything else? He should already have the 80 points. Oh, he's like too short. 3 short. Let's at least get Muthius his points for the week. Oh, a random Gloomclaw. I say somebody summoned it and then left him by itself. That's a play. You could use the T for more perception. I've heard contrasting things about the buffs on this. Yes, you're right. The T would go a long way for the extra perception. But I've definitely heard contrasting opinions on whether the buffs are even worth thinking about on doing this. For it to be another thing that I have to remember to do is going to really mean it has to be actually valuable to do. Is it possible to do something about the bug for milling and prospecting where I have to sort the bags always? There's an add-on called Mass Salvage Assist, one that I'm probably sure you're already using. The alternative thing to double check and make sure is that you don't have any odd amounts of items in the war bank or your bank in general, because it will try and pull from those. You want to keep all of the materials you're processing in your bags. Even then, it can be a little bit scuffed. So, unfortunately, it's a Blizzard thing. There's not much you can do about it. But there are a few things that helps. Why screw work order? Why screw crafting all of a sudden? It's a bit of a meme more than anything else. I'm just trying to get across the point that like this mass crafting for single-digit margins is almost a thankless task. The busy work that comes along with it makes the value proposition quite poor right now. It still has incredible potential if you push it to its limits, but it's yeah, it's a chore. It is I mean, I've pretty much always been very, very heavily focused on crafting, and I've shared my opinions quite publicly on things like farming. Doing farming for any serious amount of time sends me to sleep. But the other thing for me when it comes to farming is that the better you get, there's the natural feeling of when you do something more, you should get better at it. And farming kind of works in reverse just because of how the economy in the game works. That the more time you spend farming and the more knowledge points you get for your farmers and the more you spec them out, that doesn't seem to matter that every single week your results get worse. But this is just because, when the mats are new, they're worth a lot, and when they're not new, they're not worth a lot. It's just basic economics. But it's a real feels bad if you do farming like consistently. Hence why a lot of people like don't mind doing 50, 60, 70,000 gold at the beginning of the expansion, but you ain't going to see them going anywhere near 25, 30,000 gold an hour a month later. So it's I get struck by that real hard when I do any sort of gathering professions or farming. That you think you should get better, but your results never showcase that really. But yeah, the TLDR is that single-digit margin on crafting is so incredibly risky right now. Not gonna discredit anybody that's going absolutely ham with it and printing left, right, and center, but it's incredibly risky. And it's more from the fact that if I sit here all day and tell everybody to go and mass craft a bunch of stuff, I kind of feel a little bit bad when it all goes horribly wrong. But, you know, I'm not so convinced it's like the right thing to do almost. My moral compass is fighting against me. I just need to give less of a shit, really. 20 void tempered leather. Yoink. Right, so that's the 80 out of 80 points that I really need. Where do I throw my points thereafter? Learn to make every bit of material count, gaining finesse when skinning the renowned beasts. Does more finesse when skinning the renowned beasts? Has anybody got any actual, like, tangible proof on whether extra finesse also benefits? Has anybody seen a majestic hide proc and then a finesse give another one? I don't think that's even a thing, is it? Meaning I don't think points in this node really matter. Nothing benefits the majestic materials, I think. Finesse isn't affecting it. This is only going to benefit the fact that they do all count as high value beasts, though, don't they? So finesse can proc on the regular leather and the hide at least. But does that not still mean that slamming points in just straight up getting higher quality stuff more is better? It depends on the price of the leathers and the hides, doesn't it? I'm just thinking, where do we go after the 80 points on my main?
Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
Reagents, leather. Yeah, there is an increase in the high quality stuff in terms of value. So skill is probably better pushing for than finesse. A lot of more of something that's not worth a lot in the first place is not as attractive as more of something that's worth more. So maybe we do go skill second. RoboClaw with the 2 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Friday. Mantheus the farmer, the Mantheus from 2024 would turn in his grave, lol. Well, I mean, look at flipping. Yeah, you're probably right, but like, we can blame the Undermine. We can blame flipping Mechanicas. I'm not adverse to farming when it's worth doing. I'm never going to do it a humongous amount, and I'm going to do it in a way that I find interesting. I've 100% had more than one on a skin, pulling 2 hides, etc. Okay. Thinking skill's probably the best stat after the 80 and the majestic points. Yeah, I'm thinking just flat skill into everything, because it'll push you into getting just more higher quality, and because they're classed as high value beasts, that they always have a pretty high yield in the first place. It's like having free finesse anyway. That if you can get the high value beast yield boost plus that procking on high value stuff. Nobody wants deafness. We're not we're not doing silly diffusers on this. Lots of plus skill. Knife sharpening. I don't know. It's no biggie. 80 points is where we want to get to. Fun fact, I haven't even got blue tools on this dude. Okay. You already have a lot of skill for the Renowned Beasts. You should get high quality pretty regularly already. More finesse is better if you don't want to skin a lot of the other mobs. What's in my guild bank? What's the ratio in my guild bank looking like? Because I don't think I've been getting that much high quality stuff by default. No, my ratio of high quality is not very good at all. Like 10% of it's high quality. Less than. But I wonder if that's because most of my skinners don't have any points at all in this node yet. Perception. One. Oh no, this is purely a perception node. Is it all skill from this one? This is the one that gives you the skill. But yeah, you might be right. I should have a reasonable amount ready. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. In a week or two's time, I won't care. Choice epic tool for enchanting or tailoring, which is better? The profession doesn't matter. It depends what you're spec'd into. It depends what you're spec'd into. Whichever one. If you've spec'd both enchanting and tailoring into things that both need the epic tool, you're just done goofed from the word go. Then just flip a coin. But if you've gone like gear crafting on tailoring and you know, enchant oils on enchanting, then the answer's different. 40 characters with a green profession gear. It's about 50-50 low to high quality stuff. Okay, I must be missing some serious plus skill then if that's the case. Ace of Bloods, nice. Are those aces? They went up in price, didn't they? They were like 10k a pop yesterday, I think. Maybe even more. Once again, it kind of felt a little bit goblin shenanigans. Reagent, ace. Ones are they? Ah, yeah. It was definitely goblin shenanigans. They're back down to a sensible number again. Clearly they were all reset. That's quite funny. Boys and girls, though, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. It's Pizza Friday. I'm going to go pester the wife and see when she wants to order pizza. It's still pretty early, mind, but I'm hungry. There is a 50-50 chance there'll be a bonus stream at the weekend. I never confirm nor deny if there will be. It more depends on what I have going on IRL. There has been a few things I've been putting off doing for a week or two now that I will definitely need to do this weekend. Otherwise, we might play some video games, and if I get a block of time to play some video games, I can always throw the stream up and say hi to you guys as well. But if I don't see you, have a wonderful weekend. Good luck with the first weekend of the season, whatever you're doing. If it's goal making, keep an eye on your material prices. Pray to RN Jesus for some good procs. And best of luck with your profit margins. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Peace.